can't believe we're getting it in game number 1 already coming out here on the Zeri. And Lulu is available.
Does Beryl want to play Lulu, though? That's the question.
If it wasn't Beryl, I'd be like, okay, you have the Lulu pair as well, with not just the Zeri, but the Xin Zhao.
Oh, yeah.
Some Mammon Enchanter, but it's Beryl. I feel like he wants something where he can lead the charge.
The Rel.
That would do it.
Looking towards the Rel here.
Ooh, Rakan, another one that can certainly do that as well.
I will say, though, I mean, the Xin Zhao ult is pretty nice. The Galio ult obviously has a global pressure, but I feel like in terms of like massive team fighting power, you know, Chovy was lacking options a little bit, but the Rakan ult is so good, so does hand that over in return and give some power there. Would you see them looking at picking up the Alistair in this situation?
The cow, a consideration here. Dura going to lock that one away, so a fair bit of extra engage now going over to Gen.G. But this does put a fair bit on Dura's shoulders, it feels like to me, because I think that when you're playing Alistair, you need to make those huge pulverized plays if you want to create an impact. And we've seen some of the Alistair so far this tournament not necessarily find that. So I think we're starting off with a large microscope on Dura, and we'll see whether he's going to be able to get things done here for Gen.G. Remember, red side for Gen.G, they lost the coin flip moving into this lower bracket final. And so if they can win in game number 1, it would be absolutely massive for this squad, because not only is it a W, you move 1 up in the series, but you break the service. Dive into game number 1 of this fearless best of 5. Oh man, the fans certainly showing up here today. Lol Park is full to the brim. Everyone hoping that their team is going to make it to the final tomorrow. And Gen.G narrowly making their way through. I think some could almost say that Nongshim lost in a 4-1 scoreline.
I'm kind of with you on that one. Yeah. Particularly given the tragedy of game 2.
Yeah.
How that one ended. The definitely 3 orders away from killing a Nexus, and some unfortunate shot calling us. Might have a level 1 scuffle on our hands. Shiwa on his way as well.
Yeah, all of
That's
Gen.G
a big collapse.
in position. Beryl.
Oh boy.
Moving forward. Doesn't find the grand entrance at all, but that's a 2-man taunt. Chovy finding a whole bunch of chains, though, as we can see. Aftershocks wearing off, heals being invested. The Ignite down there as well, as Aiming really wants to be able to get a kill early, but Ruler's going to use the flash to get himself out. So 2 summoner spells in trade for 1, and Keen with full control.
I'll take this, and Vi does the Dragon very easily with a W, so doesn't really need any help, and it looks like we will not be getting any action just yet.
I feel like we're a bit robbed. I just thought that maybe the Grubs would be an opportune time, but like you were saying, with the top lane reset, there's no Keen up there, and so no Equalizer to help try and even that one out. So instead, it'll just be a trade of objectives, as Lucid is going to be taking the first couple of Grubs most definitely, and I don't think that Canyon's going to be there to take the last one, especially as he has held his smite.
Yeah, it seems like they kind of expected Canyon to come for a dive bot. You can see Beryl is actually waiting around to cover his top laner, but they ping out, they spot.
Chovy also going for a grasp, it means she's even more beefy, and I think we're actually going to get our first fight right now. Let's see what Chovy's trying to steal.
Yep.
Flash still off.
He does manage to get that Crescent Guard. Let's see whether that's going to work out for him in the team fight. Not going to try and chain his way forward, though. As you can see, they're a little bit late for this one. That is going to be one of the Grubs picked up by Gen.G. But now Chovy dives on forward. True Shot Barrage. Fair bit of work here. That's first blood right over to Ruler. And the heroic entrance does work out. Just unfortunately doesn't do enough. And that is 2 kills swiftly over to Gen.G.
And I feel like it was a really weird decision, because Gen.G were ready to commit that Rumble Keen's teleport instead of just matching it himself. So it felt like DPLUS were never really on board with actually having a straight up 5v5, maybe hoping we can stop Keen from joining and have a 4v4, and it felt very messy, but Gen.G clean with how they set up for that one.
Yeah, call might have been that if Rumble makes it to the fight, like, we're not going to be able to win, which I think is a valid call. The Equalizer,
I would agree,
with the amount of CC that's available, is such an insanely strong ultimate, but now Gen.G, they are going to be feeling amazing, right? Win the early skirmish. As Shiu again taking a beating here, as doesn't have flash.
There's the flash out, but Pope comes down, and Keen's tanking the turret for a really long time, but the perfect flash timing gets him out of there. That's feats of strength going over to Gen.G. One objective.
That is more would have been a bit. Oh,
Beryl able to exit now, but he moves away because he doesn't want to give Ruler the kill.
Okay, that's fair. I was thinking, you know, you want to move to your AD carry to get the dash to them.
Oh, does a flash, but this is going to be hard to outplay. Level 2 the ult.
Yeah, there's the Vault Breaker coming in. Equalizer is down, and he's held in there forever. Canyon able to get himself out of there, and this is such a renaissance for Canyon. I have to say, his early game, a whole lot more proactive, being able to get around and get things done. Of course, it helps when everyone on the map is winning, but it's just good to see him doing
back. In the meta in the first place was into Zeri specifically, so you have guaranteed lockdown.
What about Rumble for the Zeri lockdown?
By def, yeah, I like it.
Yeah. Doesn't stop her from skating over that wall, as we could see there, but it is going to gather Gen.G and outer turret in this mid lane. Man, this has turned from pretty good early game for Gen.G to just a slaughter.
And that's the thing is, you know, they have the tools going later in the game, as you said, with like the Vi and the Zeri to shut down these damage in these fights if it keeps going this way.
Well, Duro going to try and pulverize his way out of this situation. Does have the Unbreakable Will, as now he uses the headbutt to taxi over towards the Sentinel. He's doing everything he can to try and escape, and Lucid says, no, you're not going to. Aiming is the one that picks up the kill exactly where they want that money to be at. But is it going to be enough to get DK back into this game?
They need to get the Dragon, though. That's the big thing. A kill was nice, but that alone is not going to be enough, and we do see the contestants coming through. Keen is there.
Yeah, Equalizer goes down. Aiming, taking so much from just one ability. Does have the redemption, though, as Canyons dive forward. True Shot arrives right over the top there from Ruler. And Showmaker looking for that backline. Canyon already down as it's Aiming, stringing these kills together. Big taunt from Showmaker, but can he lock down Ruler? That's going to be the question. Chovy's already dead, though, and Gen.G, I think they're already out of this fight.
Managed to win the fight with the numbers advantage, but Gen.G's still looking. Ruler's healthy enough. He has the range.
STP.
These health bars are going low as Beryl burning down, and now Lucer looking for the opportunity, but he's put down immediately by Showmaker. Keen taunted as he turns up, almost able to get the kill, and eventually is. And now Shia looking to take down Duro once again. Duro able to clop his way towards this brush, but that is still the Drake going over to DK and a whole lot more.
And DK says, if Hanwha can do it to us, we can do it to Gen.G. Just being ahead early is not enough. It'll
prey on.
Oh, I'll defer to you on that one.
Yeah.
Guys,
like, that's how I made my license.
Guys, the Gold King has the most gold. How crazy is that?
That's nutty. Chovy has the most not being alive.
Wait, what? Is that Otacon?
That might just be.
This is.
Canyon's moving over to try and get him range. Shiva doesn't have TP. He needs the furthest away. That's the only thing that might cause some.
There is a risk here for sure. Yeah, Otacon still completely shreds you, and the Equalizer is available. I think DK are going to be looking for the turner. I don't think you want to actually try and flip this. Shio isn't there yet, though.
The turn is pretty dangerous. 15 seconds on Chovy with no teleport. As DK, they're getting softened up by this Otacon over and over again. The redemption comes down. There's the Equalizer. Decent position on that one as well, as Lucid taking a lot of damage. Has to use the ulti very defensively. As Otacon down to 3,000. Oh man, are we flipping the game on an Otacon? Is that what's happening here, DK? Let's see what they can get done here as Beryl doesn't find anything. And it's Canyon that locks away the buff. Oh, DK, they had so much control. And in an instant, they kissed it goodbye. Shiu down to 100 health. Keen throwing harpoons all over the place as Duro going the way of Beryl, but this time he has a death prevention buff, and True Shot Barrage is exactly what the start of that word says, as Ruler is able to lock that one down, and that's an ace. And Otacon, and I think
again, we've seen this so many times. It's why I thought that we're going to play way more aggressive for a pick. Otacon is very, very dangerous. It's the damage, and it's the fact that you become as squishy as what feels like a level 1 character, right? Your resistance just get shot to hell. And if Lucid has his ultimate and he doesn't or isn't forced to use it immediately very early on just because of the Equalizer and like 1 Q from Ruler, like then he can walk up and actually contest. He was close to being in smite range, but he just couldn't walk up.
But also the fact that that top laner just wasn't there. Jason's miles away, no TP. Like, they think, oh, we have a pick, it's a 5v4, but that doesn't work. Your top lane is not there.
Yeah, and when he did turn up, Keen just barbecued him off to the side where he was able to have no teamfight impact at all. As Taunt is going to be able to pick up Keen there as Chovy dives back in. Another redemption to try and keep them alive, but an Equalizer gorgeously placed. The Pulverize onto 3 Duro. Oh man, I am a fan again, don't you worry. It might have been a couple of difficult games, but this guy on the cow is looking fantastic. Ruler dancing around the backside of the fight. Echyu gets melted. A triple kill for Keen's Rumble, who looks so happy to have his teammates back alongside him here these playoffs.
And you just see Aiming not able to play the game. Violted, Alistair combo, knocked back again by the Vault Breaker. Didn't get to press his buttons, and Gen.G convincingly finished out this game.
And Duro, I thought it was going to be setting some death records without him playing. Currently 1-1-15.
Damn.
In this first match on the Alistair.
Absolutely gorgeous stuff here as the first Nexus goes down, and as it dies, so does Orcs' prediction for this series. So he is now a renegade.
Who is going where? And this is a bit of a throwback. Lucid, you can see him kind of chuckle as well. He's been playing a lot of carries, but back on Sejuani duty. And DK just going for what feels like a much more straightforward front-to-back style composition. There obviously is some dive elements with the Kai'Sa, but with the Azir, with the Mbessa, and with the Sejuani and Rel, you really have a comp that kind of covers all bases. If the laning can be better than last game.
It would be fantastic. I do like the idea of a Kai'Sa not even necessarily picked for the dive as well. It's more like an anti-get-all-in, all-outed by Keen, because he drags you out of the fight and then you just ult your way back in again. Maybe that's going to be a bit of an angle here, as the Braum, like you were talking about, is going to be locked in here. So Gen.G are not going to be engaging any fights ever, outside of, I guess, Ruler hitting a stray ultimate. And we'll see whether DK can get the angles they're looking for.
And I think the Rel pickup was also done with that in mind. I think if you're playing Nautilus, it's basically unplayable. I think Rel has a bit more angles into the Braum than you otherwise would.
Yeah, I feel like one thing though is like Gen.G's composition, it's like a 2-carry composition.
With the lethal tempo, there's a chance the Ruler can carry. See if they can do it as we jump onto the Rift. All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Game 2 of this best of 5. DPLUS looking to try and move us towards a best of 3 as we have full 5-man lineups meeting around this Brambleback camp. Gen.G once again just pushing forward. This is it's kind of weird what's going on.
Yeah, we saw last game the attempt from DPLUS to stop the invade. That was when you weren't playing into Braum Varus. Now you are playing in a Braum Varus. You can't contest them. And honestly, I mean, it's less so of a thing because it's the on-hit Varus, but you still kind of want to avoid that bot lane matchup, ideally. The Varus Braum, not a great matchup for the Kai'Sa to play into level 1, so I think they would have appreciated the information, but they kind of just gamble on the fact they are bot side. They are probably just going to put that bot lane bot, and we do end up getting the swap coming out with Aiming running towards the top side.
Oh, and now that we'll get confirmation as well. Although Keen is obviously just hovering, Lucid might be looking for an invade as,
yeah, Beryl moving on over as well, so his position's going to be found out. As Crashdown, Keen just going to soak that. He's Cassante, so he's not too worried about it.
That's so interesting. Lucid went W.
Yeah, I think...
Instead of, I guess it must have been for the invade.
Beryl looking a little worse for wear. As
Chovy.
This fight around the Grubs, this could be a little bit of a dangerous run, as like you were saying, Chovy not quite there just yet.
He's on his way though, and he has 6. Showmaker does not.
Yeah, they can't take this. Beryl's so low, Showmaker has no ult, Kai'Sa's late. This is a mistake if they try it.
Yep, Piercing Arrow also making sure the Beryl has to get out of there. So the first round of Grubs going over to Gen.G by the looks of things. Canyon going to be able to hold on to that smite for as long as he would like.
Yeah, I think
we'll be able to secure all 3.
It's not even just the fact that Chovy had level 6, but you look at the item difference, because Showmaker hasn't reset yet, and he had just a no magic mantle having been 6. Yeah, it might be a bit of a challenge. And now Gen.G obviously got those early Grubs. They still have the pressure and can just move over to the Dragon, so in a very comfortable spot.
Ow.
That's going to be both Grubs and Dragon. Indeed going over as...
Well, not
still
both
here.
Grubs, it's only one set of Grubs.
Yeah, fair. 3 out of...
yeah, 3 out of 6. Going over to Gen.G. So yeah, like you were saying, that is going to be 2/3 of the way towards that objective feat of strength.
Wait, no, I meant both Grubs and Dragon. Did I just get...
I think you got bamboozled.
I got bamboozled by Ox?
Yeah. It's not Aiming that has his back stopped, but still, this is so much tempo being given over to the team that already had so much tempo.
Yeah, and Ruler getting so much gold in this situation as well. The Varus, you know, we said this is a composition with 2 carries. You need to keep them alive. You need them to be strong. They are going to be very strong. They already have leads. Ruler's getting a ton of gold. And it is going to be a challenge from here for DPLUS. Down on the objective already, 6 grubs.
This is gone.
Yep.
And when you... So, Chronicler, when you were overselling DK versus Gen.G and we hit game 1 and it was a bit of a blowout, and then halfway through game 2 it was a blowout, is this about when the turnaround is supposed to happen?
If we follow the classic structure, yes, but I am getting worried. Maybe that's just part of the experience.
You know what it is?
What is it?
With did diff. It's just with did diff every time.
As soon as I saw it in the chat, I was like, but I was so looking forward to the DK.
And it's gonna have to be a crazy team fight, fine, but like, I think Gen.G saw hard to team fight into. When you set up with Braum and Maokai, good luck.
I also think moving down, Beryl and Lucid in the area to try and back up Shiu, but this dragon, all the while, is just being attacked.
It's gone.
They can't fight. They're just not at a strong point right now.
Lucid with it, never mind. And that's a Mountain Soul as well this game. Earth, Wind, and Fire, you love to see it. We're grooving tonight, ladies and gentlemen, but we may not be grooving tonight for that long.
And how they would continue, would they be able to continue to do this without one? And now seeing them do it with Duro on the roster, working well, oh no.
Oh shoot. Well, he's going to try and ult his way out and does not manage to do so. The Winter's Bite is going to land as Canyon's going to reset the aggro. Chovy needs to get out of here though as he does flash, and Shiu will survive as they do not quite have the damage.
Yeah, I'm honestly not sure, would the ult hitting be better or worse, honestly, in that scenario? Hard to really know, but does survive the dive, and now they're looking for Ruler.
Yeah, the counter dive potentially coming in, but it's a teleport from Chovy for more than they really should. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that he's being able to stay up in levels as well as DK.
First.
Yep, they're going to be able to take this Rift Herald by the looks of things, unless Canyon can really book it, but it's not going to be the case. As Ruler wanting to trade for this outer turret in the mid lane. Shiu taking a lot of damage. There's the Blighted Quiver Stacks really getting broken down. Glacial Fissure comes in as Beryl looks for the backline. Empress Divide onto Ruler is gorgeous from Showmaker, and they take him down first. The Killer Instinct into the backline as Keen will be able to go all out and get rid of aiming, but not before he grabs a double kill. Chovy now trying to answer back the fight as Shiu, not the raid boss we saw from him, and he will be cut down. And sometimes you forget about the Kazante.
Someone there clearing the wave. Ambitious Beryl.
Yeah. He's not afraid of anything though. That's what he's proving.
Amos
over
already
and over
jumped. They need to get this. They cannot afford to give Soul Point over to Gen.G here, and I think DK, they feel the necessity.
Yep, Showmaker going to be able to make his way in. He's got his ultimate. I don't know whether they're going to be able to steal away this dragon, but can they find themselves a victory in the fight? And the answer might just be no. Shiu going to get caught out of position. The two-man ulti from Duro is so good as well, as Lucid's going to get slowed down, and Gen.G are now on the warpath. Ulti comes through from Chovy to slow down Miss Piggy, as Bristle is going to get...
The one thing that Gen.G needs to be very careful of.
Is this the way back in for DK? The Gen.G curse of the Arakan fight situation.
Shiu STP, they're gonna have to. This is the only moment I think you're gonna get. If Arakan goes over, Gen.G wins this game and you're down 2-0.
Oh, aiming so low, and the red buff just timed out, so no more sustain.
Yeah, Showmaker's also spotted as Keen diving on in. The Magnastorm is decent. The Brambles are keeping them away though as Beryl dies, Lucid dies, and aiming just rockets himself into the backline to suicide. Oh no, Showmaker gets himself out of there, and the Arakan will just be secured by Gen.G. That was no Gen.G incident on their side of the rift, and DK back to the drawing board once again.
DPLUS, they find Ruler, but they
shouldn't realistically have a way back into this one. 2 minutes until the mountain comes up, and if you think they're tanky now, well, I mean, he has the buff. Like, you can maybe take him down, but
well, Bramble Smash value is pretty high. He does invest the flash to hold onto his buff for as long as he can, and look at that, Sap sipping his way back to relatively decent help as aiming comes on over. There's the Brambles coming on out there. Canyon's still alive, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Emperor's Divide to throw Ruler back towards aiming. The flash forward as Drew wants to be able to get the passive proc, and he will be able to get it. Aiming goes down, and Keen's running amok, managing to land the double Q onto Showmaker and Lucid. Duro still just giving them the door as best he can. Shiu gets in here, but look at Keen. He's immovable. And Gen.G, this is with Arakan.
Oh man, DPLUS, they're trying to find these angles, but they're just such a deficit, and some clutch moments from Gen.G. Duro keeping Ruler alive for the extra bit of time. Members of DPLUS were top. they would still lose soul by the time they killed
But as soon as they see Lucid here, and Keen just did,
I mean, they
that
just
should
give
just be free mountain soul.
No, they're giving it up.
He just did the walk strategy.
Oh no!
They're giving it up. Yeah, they're not going to try and contest for soul, which means that if you fuck Asante, he's going to go Jack Show.
Yeah,
he's
Jack
going
Show's
to be
third
so
item.
hard to kill. He's going to, and he has the Braum sitting on his. Oh man, it's
And they're probably still going to do it. They're probably still going to try and use everything to try and kill Ruler.
You know what?
And he's going to survive the entire fight while everyone else is dying around him.
They are definitely the underdogs here.
Well, Chovy's going to dive in and really prove that point as the Brambles coming on through as well. Showmaker the target, and he will be executed. The Sundisk.
They don't even get rid of shield.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Okay. Hear me out. Might be a little early for this.
Okay.
Is Nongshim better?
Oh God. Well,
I'm joking.
I guess maybe they did a lot better against Gen.G.
The actual reason is that Gen.G very clearly looked like a different team from a couple of days ago, but look at this defense!
Well, there's a Magnet Storm onto a couple of people. The Baron is also going down in the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, and I don't know whether they win this 3 versus 4. Keen getting healed back up by God knows what. And yeah, there goes the Baron. So the 3 versus 4 keep away of the 2-man Baron.
And it's something he did on the Sylas. The Sylas KDA didn't look nearly as impressive, but I think his neutralization of Showmaker has been the biggest reason as to why this game has looked so lopsided. We know how reliant DK is on Showmaker actually being able to make plays, and we're just not getting any of that because Chovy is bullying him in every single lane we've seen so far. Like, what is it, like an average 20-30 CS gap every single time we get to our first fight?
Yep, it's absolutely obscene. And this game, 2-0-7 on the Aurora. I don't even think Aurora has been an all that good pick for Chovy throughout this tournament thus far, as Xiu going to get pushed out. The Brambles are going to be used just to zone them away from this inhibitor turret, but maybe Keen's going to look for an engage angle as well. As it turns out, what you need to do is destroy structures, though, and so Gen.G, all business as they move into the enemy base. 2 inhibitors in the blink of an eye.
The Mountain Soul is doing so much here. I keep seeing like abilities being thrown into Gen.G, like aiming.
Look at that!
And it just
they're auto and Canyon.
Damage.
Can you see it?
No, I didn't actually see it, Chronicler. He does have a large shield, though. Was that larger prior? That's the question. Oh, he lost. No, it's back again. He lost a bit. He doesn't have a shield right now. It's now your time as the ulti comes in from Chovy. Oh my goodness, Keen just pushes him into the wall. He gets taken down exceptionally low.
Got him.
Tanking up 2 Nexus turrets was maybe a little bit too much here, but the Nexus turrets are now removed. The Sundisk, as well as the Killer Instinct, flies forward from aiming, but unfortunately, the Killer Instinct was on the side of Gen.G in this particular game. They're going to go to match point obscenely early in this best of 5, and DK really going to have to wake up now.
And you might look at that Nongshim a lot worse because you're going for double AP. Also, just looking at it, right? Like, it's again, so much of what has made DPLUS feel great has been Showmaker having that impact. I think on the rise early on, that's harder to do. His ult's been amazing, though, as this is a blind pick here for Xiu, and it's just going to be his combo pick, and I think they also knew that this was coming. If this ends up coming through, like, that was very clearly telegraphed, and that's probably what Keen is going to pilot.
Yeah, the thing is, sometimes you end up with these compositions with a lot of bulky front line that Lilia can kind of just run circles around, and they can't really do enough damage to her. But, I mean, this is a squishy comp from Gen.G, but also they have a lot of damage.
There's a lot of circles as well.
Yeah, so I feel like it's one of those games where you can just get exploded. You know, even though the Ryze and the Lilia feel quite bulky in a lot of games, I don't think you'll survive very long if any CC hits from the side of Gen.G, and they do have a lot of CC.
Not to mention the fact that they've also got Cannon Barrage, which makes Lilia's life a whole lot worse. I just feel like when you're Lilia, you want to be abusing that massive amount of movement speed that you have.
Yeah,
and you just don't have a lot of that.
Yeah. Ash as well, and then you also look at the fact that when it comes to trying to ever engage onto anyone, has already been highlighted, was already hard. Gangplank adds even another layer to that, and who tanks an arrow on DK?
Exactly. That is 100% it. We'll see whether it stays that way as we dive onto the Rift for Game 3. Well, Gen.G fans in full voice today. And I just want to go back to Disguised Toast just for a second, because his name was like a pun on the Hearthstone character.
It's the Fire's ringleader, yes.
Yeah. This guy's Toast. But it's like, do people just not even get that that's the reference anymore?
No, of course not.
It's kind of crazy.
And guess what? That card's coming
Wait,
back.
Orcs
by
is
the
looking
way.
at us oblivious.
He had no idea.
Did you have any idea?
I'm not a Hearthstone guy.
No, it's
a bit of a boo.
It's buffed. It's coming back on the next rotation.
Oh, is it really?
It really is.
Oh, yeah, you still play the real game, don't you?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy,
Have
man.
since the beginning. Every now and then we take a break. You know the 5 stages of grief?
Yes.
The only one you need to know is denial, because that's where I am right now. I was feeling
You're just going to get stuck there?
Yes, that's where I'm stuck right now. I was feeling a 5-game banger. I was really hoping that we were going to have the classic, the back and forth, the crazy moments, everything that Gen.G and DK series has given us for so many of the past years. And
And I mean, in Barrel's defense.
Oh, no.
Okay.
No, not a jungler!
Lucid's getting duroed. Oh, dear.
Right, I think he can
watch
turn
out.
around now.
He is looking for a turnaround. Yeah, he does manage to hit that level 2, as Duro was thinking. Yeah, that is absolutely ridiculous. The Barrels are also going to connect onto Showmaker here, as Shiu's down to 200 health as well. Barrel's making his way forward, though. There's the flash! Nailing the stun from the passives. Can they take down Chovy? That's the question. The answer is going to be absolutely yes, as Shiu on the board extremely early.
I think Barrel also tried to hook Keen there based on his position, right?
Yeah.
Like he went for the auto and tried to walk past as Canyon.
Oh, he misses it completely, but nails the Q.
Yeah, he's gone.
Yep, Kane has his.
Yeah. So
And
he just walks in and steals it away. And he doesn't... Okay, he does actually smite it away. As Showmaker's going to have to flash, but the Rune Prison is down.
Barrel's on his
Sid managing
way.
to land a lot of damage here. As Canyon still with the flash, does use it here. As
He's going in.
Lucid immediately getting out of there as Duro, the flash heroic charge. And he is out. Not scot-free, though, as that is 2 flashes now on cooldown.
Good job, Alistair.
It was fantastic. It was absolutely fantastic. As Ruler takes a fair bit of damage from that double up here. As Duro's the one that's copping the brunt of it. In goes Lucid. I think Duro is definitely dead, and there he goes. 2-0 up now for DK, and despite the fact that Gen.G found some decent angles in the early game in the jungle was kind of good, this is not quite working. It's Chovy with an absolutely gorgeous charm to turn it around. I was mid-sentence, Gen.G. Let me praise DK.
Lucid's 2 levels down. Like, we are not getting the rest of these grubs. And it's the use of the lack of flash. Showmaker flashed earlier in that bot side skirmish. Chovy punishes him hard.
Well, there is a make it rain in a bullet time as aiming is flashing on top of Ruler, and he finds the extra autos, but he trades it 1-for-1. Keen throws the ultimate into the abyss, just as a sign of solidarity himself, I guess.
Anytime soon.
The problem is as well, he got the smite upgrade a lot earlier than Lucid did, so he just walked into his jungle and smited the Raptors before he even got into range of Lucid's smite. And right now, it's still 8 stacks ahead of him.
But 35 CS, just that's a large amount of camps. Also able to take this dragon, as we can see here. And the Hextech Drake going over to Gen.G. As you can see, Ruler and Duro now moving towards the bottom side. There are a lot of scaling elements, I guess, on both sides. You know, Ryze will be doing more and more, although he will be doing a bit of dying here as Strangle Thorns goes down. He does flash away, but it's not going to be enough. And he's going the wrong direction as everyone gets sleepy. Canyon going to be going down as Chovy has to get himself out of their bowling ball. Going to miss, but it's a 1-for-1 in the end. Definitely a good trade there for DK.
You know what's the sad thing is we nearly saw the combo. This sleep with the bullet time.
Yeah, right.
They fell asleep just outside of it, but it's a 1-for-1 in the end through Showmaker without his flash, though. Could be in a vulnerable spot, but Lucid, I think, very much appreciating some alone time without Canyon breathing down his neck.
Yep, being able to grab these grubs as well. And the fact that they were able to get that first one in the first round means that if he's able to secure all of them, then it is going to be some Void Mites to come on out. As he's taking a lot of damage, but this is just the thing that happens, and he's got some honey fruit.
Yeah, you know,
Got a skew as well.
If you weren't aware that he was a little bit behind, you know, if the several graphics and us talking about it didn't make it clear, I think this
That now the lead for Lucid is a lot less bad as in we go.
Yeah, Realm Warp to bring Showmaker towards his top lane, as Keen is pretty tanky, to be honest. He is getting taken down lower and lower, and there is the combo from Showmaker to lock that one down. Chovy turns up, misses the charm though. Canyon with a lot of damage as Showmaker the first one to go down. Chovy almost surviving. Manages to utilize the Q, but it's not quite enough, and Barrel limps his way out another 1-for-1. 1-for-2. I tell a lie, as Keen had fallen down earlier. Maybe it's a 2-for-2, as now Duro going to move in, pushes Shiu back, doesn't manage to get the full hop, and I think is going to pay the price. Ruler locks that one down with the Q doing that extra damage.
Yeah, so hard to play against the Poppy there as the Gnar.
Yeah.
You can't hop onto her and get the bounce as she'll just block you.
He really should have, because if there's no response from Poppy on the top side play, you should know they're on the bottom half of the map.
It's one of those horrible situations, though, where it's just a Poppy and an Ashe, so you think, I can probably make my way out of this, but in reality, I think the correct call was just to save the flash, because there's so little you can do there.
Showmaker taking a lot of damage. There's the charm connecting, but Chovy's getting sleepy and isn't actually going to be put to sleep, so it's fine. Keep his verdict, just to zone everyone away from this turret. And when you've got set plays like this available to you by like just pressing R on Poppy when you're near a turret you want to kill, it does feel like Gen.G are going to be feeling comfortable moving throughout the rest of the game as well, because it's such a dragon, so that is going to put the extra notch into their objective count.
Gonna go down here. We do have the Herald spawning in about a minute. Do you think that DK are going to try and play towards that? And this does feel like a bit more playable for DK, because I do think that this composition should excel when it comes to the team fighting. Poppy, to me, is the biggest issue outside of the great disengage that they're for Gen.G.
Yep, Keen walks over a ward, DK getting that information, and they will immediately back away. Yeah, like you were saying, not going to be a great time for Xiu to teleport in. They do want to contest this Rift Herald. They bought a bit of time. I guess there is that, as Aiming's going to move on over as well. Let's see whether they can land this sleep combo as Make It Rain comes down. Arrow going to be flashed there by Beryl very nicely. The bowling ball just barely making it all the way through as the bullet time is going to be channeled into Keen, and he just doesn't care. Showmaker now dives into the thick of things, and Canyon's going to immediately make him regret it. And Gen.G can do no wrong in this fight, as already the Rise is on the floor. Beryl's looking for this longer chain once again, as Depth Charge is going to connect onto Chovy. Everyone's getting sleepy, but it doesn't seem to matter. As the flash over from Ruler, it's vintage kiting here from the Ashes. He does go down immediately afterwards, as the barrel not going to connect, but Aiming is out of the fight, and Gen.G, they find a convincing one.
Just feels so hard for DPLUS to approach these situations. They're trying to find out about a minute, but on the opposite side from
there are things on the ground, and the arrow is going to connect there as Lucid. Not going to die just yet, and he is actually going to be able to walk his way out. Duro dies. I have no idea.
Lucid definitely feels like he should have died. Walking back into the volley was also optimistic. And, Xiu does have flash. Might have to use it here.
Yeah, he's going to get slowed down. The Stranglethorn's going to come down first just to get the mobility out, and then the Grasping Roots are a sitter. Nicely played there by Gen.G.
And actually, it's a Zyra as well, so I mean, it's not an issue now, but when Anakin's up, you have to be really cautious about how quickly she can shred through this objective that we've seen so many teams.
Hellfire as he possibly can get. Lucid doing his very best just to fish with these bowling balls, find some angles, and the Lilia is getting scarier and scarier. We saw that Gen.G are struggling to engage onto him and then find any joy, because Aiming's very happy to pull the trigger at a moment's notice.
Lucid trying to stack his passive.
This barrel is so frightening. A hook going to go wide yet again. Beryl taking so much damage from the barrel. It's confusing to say. And the arrow is going to connect as well. He burns down. And Gen.G don't even need to commit to the fight. And Beryl's just dead.
It's just so difficult to approach against his composition. And Gen.G... Chovy.
Chovy does watch out, and he doesn't even say eat. He's absolutely fine. Heroic charge onto Xiu, who's now out of position. Stranglethorns to knock him up over and over again. As the Rift Herald flies in, Ruler with a volley to finish off the kill, and now that flank comes through. Lucid hit by that charm as these barrels are coming down, and the non-committal CC is just nutty from Gen.G here as Chovy dashes on forward, looks for Showmaker now, who's taking so much, another max range charm, and Chovy is going to add that injury to the insult, and Ruler's going to take another one. I mean, the Dragon went down as an afterthought, and Gen.G just decimate the fight. Got it.
I feel like Gen.G, we saw Chovy do this last game in the Aurora, controlling that banana brush and just making it impossible to approach. And then we have this play where it's just like steadily moving up, throwing pieces of CC and seeing what connects. And I think, once again, the Rise is just having such a difficult time here as it's a mobile pick. Like a big CC combo with the... Oh, no.
Okay, yeah, Xiu is in trouble. The arrow was to predict a flash that never actually eventuated, and then Duro just catches him. Steadfast Presence was always there. That was the mind game that Xiu was playing, and he's going to lose. Gen.G going to augment that with a dead turret as this inner just kind of evaporated.
Yeah, I mean, to me, like the final win con for DPLUS is like a big CC combo.
Or just him being sent home.
I don't get to finish my points because I don't even know how to explain what's going on. What Rula just, I mean, he has Adakan, so I guess
he needed to buy. He could afford the Bloodthirster, as you can see.
Fast recall.
It's not fast. It takes 15 seconds. Has cleanse very soon.
Well, Arrow is going to miss here, but the Strangle Thorns does not. And there's another circle, the Venn diagram of death here from Gen.G, as Lucid and Beryl are just dead before they can really do anything.
I think the real thing we have to discuss and get to the bottom of is what powers does Jonah Strong have?
Well, this is okay, so I mentioned this off air. I am pretty sure that Jonah Strong is proof that time travel does indeed exist. And in fact, we're just living in Back to the Future 2. Because I think he's Biff. I actually think he's just Biff.
I think to predict that Gen.G could show up to this point made him think 3-0.
All right, Hail Mary.
Maybe it's the turnaround, as Ruler is going to flash. That puts him in pretty good position because there's a teleport coming on forward. That's going to be Chovy joining a 3-man Nah. But if it happens when nobody's watching, doesn't really happen, as now Chovy's fighting Showmaker. Showmaker finds himself outnumbered as well. Heroic charge is gorgeous as they take down Lucid. And Showmaker going golden in the nick of time. Chovy dashing away. And Gen.G, they leave Beryl up to go back and send a message to his people as they are now looking to take down the final Nexus in this series.
Just knocking on the doors now. The Bays closed it out. Gen.G with such a dominant performance. Honestly, their best performance we've seen in the LCK Cup and coming at the perfect time when they need it. Beryl alone to try.
This is called peaking when you absolutely need to, as Gen.G will take down Nexus's 1 and 2. Duro dodging that hook beautifully with the heroic charge. And man, a clean 3-0. Nothing to see here. And what I would have said was who could have seen it coming? But we have the answer. It's